Our guest is someone that I idolize their business. I think it's so cool, mainly because I'm obsessed with cars. We have Nick Dossa, the owner of Vegas Auto Gallery, here with us today. And we're going to have a lot of fun and jump right into this. So let's go. What's up, Nick?
Not much. You tell me, man. How you been?
Life's good, man. Life's good. So you and I met. I don't know if you know this story. It's kind of funny. I am scrolling through Instagram and I see a great piece of art on my feed. And I look at the piece of art, which is in the back, and obviously it's got an incredibly beautiful Lamborghini in front of it. And between those two images, that's what caught my eye. And then I went to the Instagram, Vegas Auto Gallery, and I started scrolling through your account and your profile. And then I became obsessed with your product. I was like, dude, this guy's got every fucking dope car in the city. And at that time, Luis, I was looking for something to replace the Raptor because I've been rocking that Raptor for so long, which I've never owned a car that long. But it was kind of mid-pandemic where you just couldn't get any cars. And I went to the site, worked my way through all of your inventory, ran across what I thought at the time, talk about an amateur, the coolest looking G-Wagon I'd ever seen. It was so big and obnoxious. And then I came to learn that it was the G-Wagon squared. Yeah. And I came down, and that's how I learned about you guys.
That's a badass car.
Isn't it?
Still is.
I was looking at what the prices on them. They're holding pretty good with some big miles on them.
Holding for years.
Do you think that's a car to hold?
I think they made a replacement that's just too cushiony.
Yeah.
If you could say that. It's just too refined. So yeah, the OGs like the old one. Yeah. And that was the first time they did that. So
have you seen the new one, Luis? The new body?
No.
It's really got all the clean, rounded edges of the new G-Wagon.
But I feel like that's what makes it cool. Like,
well, the new body?
No, like the
yes, I agree, because I think that car is intended to appear rugged.
Yeah. It's like the Broncos. People don't buy them because they're refined. They buy them because they're rugged and tough. You want to have that
sharp edge.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
that's what that truck has. You listen. Everybody knows it's you.
Yeah, oh man, dude, that
white's the rarest color, so you did good.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
In that car?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
See, those are the fascinating little facts that you know about, like that car space.
Of course.
He was showing me this fucking GT4 RS.
Yep.
And how did you describe it? With the color, you called it you said the custom color. What did you say?
Paint to sample.
Paint to sample. That's a term in the car space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Porsche term, paint to sample paint. It's just.
Does that mean that someone said, I want it this color?
Porsche, you give them an idea, they basically pick it, and then that's what the color you get. Or you can ask them for a specific if they're willing to do it. There's special wishes options too. Interesting.
I love it. Yeah, so that's how I learned about you. And since then, I found you to be quite fascinating. You've been, oftentimes these guys that own these big businesses and real elite type product that they're selling, the owners can be perceived as just not real friendly people or kind people or easy people to connect with. Maybe that's a better term, because I'm sure they're kind people, but they're probably just not easy people to connect with. And I felt that was not you or how your operation is ran at all.
It has to be the opposite. That's how I built it. Treat everybody like a friend. Doesn't matter if you have money, you don't have money. You might not have money today. You might have money later. You want to buy something from me later. You got to just be treated equal all across the board. I've had people come in on bicycles and buy cars.
Really?
Literally. Factually. Yeah. Yeah. Factually. So you can never judge a book by its cover. People said that for years and I never have. So I just am open to everyone and just be like that. You have to be approachable.
Yeah. No, you've got a gift for that. I learned that game in real estate many years ago, because in 2005, you could have been a blackjack dealer that bought 5 acres on what you would have thought never would be Durango and Warm Springs 30 years prior. And then all of a sudden you sold it for $6 million, over $1 million an acre. So I was talking to a buddy of mine. He's like, do you think that a lot of these people in Vegas actually have money? And I'm like, you just can't you can't tell anymore. You never know, because Vegas is such a place of opportunity that somebody who didn't have any money all of a sudden could have a whole bunch of money.
Literally overnight.
Yeah.
Big swings, big losses.
Do you know what the bike story was about?
The guy came in on the one that bought a car from us.
Yeah.
Yeah, he rode in. He lived at the Panorama. Rode in on a bicycle just because he was out for a drive or on his bike. And he saw our sign, so he just pulled in. I can't say his name.
Can you say what he bought?
Yeah, he bought a 458 Special at the time. But to say this, the guy had 75 cars.
Oh my gosh.
Looked like a bum. You'd never guess it. Long white hair up to his shoulders. He had a McLaren P1 when no one even had one.
Is that what the car you had recently?
We sold it not too long ago.
Yeah. Okay.
But and this guy, his family was actually, they're one of the biggest families in the medical industry. I can leave it at that.
Yeah.
But the space, just put it like this, during COVID, they were already billionaires. Now they're multi-billionaires.
Dude, that's that COVID game, man. COVID either doubled your net worth or it crushed you.
Yeah.
And that was a big swing for me. I think when I look back and someone's going to say, what was your big break? Obviously, in the beginning of COVID, I didn't interpret it this way, but I would look now and say COVID changed my life. Absolutely changed my life.
It helped a lot of people.
It doubled my assets overnight, in 6 months.
I was always the kind of person that, well, when it's falling, go deeper, buy harder. And so when everybody was so freaked out, I was like, well, dude, these are just deals to be and we're about to go into a lockdown. So that means no one's going to buy anything. Nothing's going to really drop. It's going to just freeze for a second. So I started buying as much as I could, and I stockpiled as much as I could. And then all of a sudden we go into a lockdown. So we had to shut everything down. And then we found out later on that car sales was an essential business.
You got to open back up.
So I could open back up.
Did you?
And people were sitting at home, nothing else to do except be on the internet.
Scrolling.
And they got their money in the bank, and they actually got time to think. Oh man, that was it. It was on.
And you had ripped a whole bunch of cars at that time?
It's just, if you had cars, you were making money. It was. You can't sell off empty shelves.
Yeah. Blake, what's Blake's role with you?
He's my sales manager. He runs the show with me.
Okay.
My right hand.
Blake, your sales manager, he told me that because watching your business feels very similar to mine, because one of your cars could easily, if not more, exceed the cost of buying a home. Think about that, Luis. This guy's got $250,000 cars to $2 million cars. He's anyway. And I was talking to Blake, like, how do you guys have the balls to keep? I think that was generally the term. How do you guys have the balls to keep buying all of these cars? And this was before I knew you, Nick. And he goes, Nick, or the owner, whatever it was, says his rule is you can't sell with empty shelves.
Yeah. You can't sell off empty shelves.
You can't sell off.
Just said it. You can't sell off empty shelves. People that are scared, the same thing as scared money doesn't make money. You don't put your thing out there to get smashed, it's going to stay right in your pants. So you gotta go all out to get it. And listen, when you get the hit, you take a bigger hit, but you're not going to cry about making all the money you made in the meantime.
Yeah.
People are so gun shy, and that's why you're great at what you do too, because you see a deal and you look at a project like, oh, yeah, I know I can see past that. Yeah, it might not be 100% what I like, but you just pull the trigger and you know you're going to make it work. Yeah. And you make it work. And then you're like, I'm so glad I did. Yeah. So that's the same thing with me. It's a balance. You almost become accustomed to that feeling of a little bit. There's a mixture of fear and comfortableness. And when you enter into that space is almost when you know it's right. Yeah. It's, there's a point where there's too much fear, too much anxiety. And then you kind of like, I just don't feel good about this one. But I also, at the same time, if you just only operate in that space of sheer comfortableness, you would never buy anything. No. I always tell myself 95% of my purchases are based on data. And then but you can never identify that last 5% as anything other than risk and gambling. You have. And your gut. This is the okay, we looked at all the data, guys. That's 95% of our decision making. That last 5%, we got to go with our gut. Do we feel 100%. Good about it? Yep. That's exactly it. Nope. And sometimes Blake will push me, oh, you got to buy that. I'm like, no, I don't think, just do it. All right. all right, Blake, you know what? You do it. And he'll do it. He has the power to do that. He's at that point. So, and he'll make wins, but we take losses too.
Yeah.
Like we're human. I can't say it's always a gravy train.
That's part of the game.
I got slapped up a few times
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah, it's part of it. It's part of it. Let's talk about how you got started. You know, how do, I mean, how do you, because again, this is me as a consumer. I'm a giddy consumer when I look at your business. That's what's so fun about it is I'm literally a giddy consumer. I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy's so cool because you're a candy shop for a kid, but for an adult. When you walk into your space. And so I look at your inventory. Let's just have some fun conversation. Roughly how much in inventory do you think you have right now in cars?
40 million.
Okay. $40 million. So you didn't start yesterday with 40 million bucks. No. So what does your whole journey look like? How did you land in I know you're not from Vegas. You're not from America.
No.
How did you get here?
I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. It's a long story, so I'll keep it simple. But I'm a big family guy. And family to me is number one. I don't care. You can take everything I have away today. Keep my family. Like, so that's give you an idea of where my values lie, right? My dad passed when I was 12 years old. My mom was a big real estate person. She was actually one of the people that brought Remax to Canada in the 70s. So when my dad passed away, she sacrificed everything, said, I loved one man. I was only with one man. I only wanted to be with one person. That's it. She sacrificed her life to look after me.
Oof.
At 12. So from 12 years old, I was showing show homes, as they say, you know, model homes, right?
Okay.
I'd be walking people around showing houses. My friends are out playing. I'd go to school and come do that. And then from there, she taught me the business. Like I just learned, right? Being around those people, making those deals and learning from her. So I was always in business and I enjoyed that. My mom's health started to slide. In Canada, the weather's so damn cold. Like we're in winter here, but we're wearing sweatshirts and we can go outside. Over there, you're wearing a sweatshirt, a jacket, thermal pants, whatever. It's minus 40 degrees Celsius.
Oh my gosh.
Like it's cold, like in the winter. But as an older person, that takes a beating on your body. It doesn't matter who you are. It ages you. Her health started to slide. So when it started to slide, my brother lived in Vegas. And so she used to come here to visit him. And she comes out here and she's 100% better. Like immediately. Like it's like her whole, everything changes, right? So she was out here and I get a phone call. And one day she got sick out here too. And my brother calls me and says, hey, you need to come right away. So I was like, oh, man. Okay. I left the office at 4 o'clock. I caught the 6 o'clock flight.
Good for you.
I was here. And I grabbed a duffel bag and I ended up being here for 6 months. I was supposed to be here for a weekend or like a couple of days. I had to go to Nordstrom's. I had to buy all new stuff again. All new clothes.
I had to go to Nordstrom's.
I didn't know where else to go.
My bad, Nick. I didn't know where else to go. All right, no judgment. Good for you.
Yeah, edit that. But no,
Target, Nordstrom Rack.
Yeah, Nordstrom Rack. Yeah. I had to go buy everything again. And so I basically left my business alone in Canada and I came
Was
out
the
here.
business real estate in Canada?
No, I was in cars over there.
Oh, you were already in cars. Okay.
I already progressed from like working with my mom in homes and then I got into cars. And so the guy I was working for in Canada was big in the car business. And then I had my own dealership. He took me out of business, basically bought me out and said, hey, you come work for me now. That's a funny story. I can tell you that later too. And so long story short, I get here and I'm like looking around like, man, there's really nothing to do here. I was so bored and just waiting for my mom to get better. And I said, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna be here for a while. So I started looking at the cars and stuff like that. You know, curiosity gets you. Like, man, there's only one dealership in town.
Right. Right.
How? And I'm looking at the pricing and I'm like, okay, now I look at California. I'm like, wow, 30 grand difference. Okay. I look at Arizona. Wow, 15 grand difference. What are these people doing in Vegas? So I went and bought one car. I went and bought a car out of state, brought it to Vegas, put it online, flipped the car.
Because you had it.
I was like, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. So I knew it. I knew that there was a market there because I actually went to that dealership to go trade a car in that we had here. And they hit me so low on it. I said, man, there's no way this is possible. So that's why that kind of piqued my interest. And then I started from one car and just built it up. And I went back to Canada, closed everything down, cleaned up everything, came back, and here I am.
What was the first car that you flipped?
First car that I flipped over here.
Is it flipping or reselling?
Yeah, you call it a flip, I guess. I found a cheap Lexus
No
IS
way.
300, yeah.
No way.
Yeah, I found a Lexus cheap. And then from there, I went to I think I found a G-Wagon. It was an older G-Wagon. It was like a 2014 G-Wagon, and flipped that too. And so that's where the ball started going. I was shooting cars in the desert.
What's that?
I would take pictures of cars in the desert and then put them online.
That's your skilled marketing eye to do that.
Yeah,
it wasn't like you were in the back of a warehouse. You weren't.
No.
That was very strategic. No?
No, it was just, I had to find a spot that would look good, and you want to make people realize when you take a photo online of a car, it's branding. We have a thing called schema, and it sticks in your schema. It's recognized, you recognize that same picture over and over again. So you build that brand. So my brand was, okay, I'm in the desert. Let me try and build this brand from the desert, the dirt. And people will see that picture on Auto Trader. And if it's whatever car, oh, that must be the same guy. It's the same guy. It's the same guy. And then, oh, wow. Okay, he sold like a bunch. He's got more. And then credibility. That's how it starts.
What's that called?
Credibility.
No.
Schema.
Schema. It's a part of the brain?
Yeah, it's in your schema. Like I've heard this term from a friend of mine, and he's like, that's what it's called. So it's basically, if we put something right here, we keep remembering it, right? It's like your branding, for example, you're the key. Now everybody knows that you're related to the key, the stadium, right? So it's like, okay, cool. Oh, you're the guy that gives the keys. That's your thing. It's in your schema. They're going to start branding that.
Okay.
It's repetition, like top of mind.
Yeah, but that's why a lot of people online, dealerships now, you'll see, I mean, I know they've copied us, which is, hey, great.
It's part of the game,
it is
dude.
what it is.
I get copied all the time.
But, you got to have that consistency. You see guys shooting pictures over here and over there and whatever. It's like, dude, what's going on?
Right.
What's this guy doing?
No, yeah. I can be on Car Gurus looking all over the United States. Then it comes down to nearby you, I think is what it is. Instantly. I know where that car's at.
Yeah.
Just based on your consistent photo taking.
Yeah.
Instantly. I was copied so much at one time. I had like 45 homes at the time. I got a call from one of my agents. She's like, I'm in 123 Main Street. I want this house. What do I got to do to get it? It's for my buyer, Josh. Throw me a bone. I'm looking at my board for 123 Main Street. I'm like, I don't own a 123 Main Street. I'm like, she's like, I know it's yours. I'm in it. I can tell. It's got the red pot. It's got the 3 Pellegrino bottles. It's got everything that you do. I'm like, I don't own that. And then I go, give me the address. I go look at the address, and it was somebody that had copied me to the T. Like they'd literally taken the last home I did in that model and did every single thing that I did. Yeah. I guess you just get used to it.
You're often imitated, never duplicated.
Yeah.
That's it. People can try, but then that's what makes us different is your customer service, my customer service. So
absolutely.
That's what really cakes the cake, right? That's where we retain our customers and build new customers and referrals. I love referrals.
I mean, I'd send everybody down to you guys. I mean, yeah.
My mom used to put a sticker on all her deal jackets, like, her real estate deals. And it was a little heart and it said, I love referrals. And she just put that sticker on there and she was known for that.
That had to sharpen your eye growing up around
100%.
a real estate woman. What I'm loving about this story is that was similar to my story. My dad was never in the picture ever. And, which I would argue there's trauma to both scenarios, but I often would compare myself to other young men, now men that also don't have fathers, but their journey was a little bit, I would argue, is more traumatizing because dad would show up, then leave, show up, then leave, or be in your life and then pass away. Yeah. I just never had a dad there. So I don't know how that's better or worse, but I always found it interesting to compare the two. But so my mom was a powerhouse real estate woman in Vegas. And I learned so much from her. And I respect the shit out of single women that can raise a family and be successful. That my mom lived a great life. She was creative with how she spent her money. She was intelligent how she spent her money. She invested her money. And now that I have kids and I look back, I'm like, how on earth did she do it? One. And then two, also be ambitious. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you're a dad.
Yeah.
How do they balance ambition? Because it takes so much time, energy, and effort, and then family. Yeah. Like I can do what I do because of my wife, 100%, because she handles the whole family side.
Same with mine. She holds it down for me, so that way I'm able to do what I got to do. Sometimes with our business, it's late nights, clients. You know how it goes. You have to take them out for dinner, this, that, whatever. You have to have an understanding person with you. If you don't have an understanding wife, you're done.
That's your girl too.
Yeah. But did you fall into those roles, or did you talk about them? Because that was
Ooh,
one
great
thing
question.
that we recently went into, because me and my wife were young. We're like in our 20s. We had to like sit down and talk about our roles, because initially it was like, once we established that, yo, you're taking care of the family, let me do this thing, it was like smooth sailing.
See, my situation was different.
Yeah.
My wife was also a powerhouse. So she
Yeah.
stepped back from being a powerhouse to be able to do what she's got to do for our family, to make me be able to do what I got to do for us, right? And so she's a publisher. She had her own magazine, and she actually stepped back from that a little bit to be able to look after our little one. And so it was an adjustment. So in the beginning, it was like, oh, I really don't want to, but I have to. And so you have to have someone that's understanding in that sense. They always say you want to marry a woman like your mother, in a sense, to some degree. That's what they say about guys, that, if you're a mama's boy, I'll be the first one to tell you I'm a mama's boy. I don't care, and my brother is too. But when a mom sets you up for your future, and in our situations, it's very similar. You're going to find a woman that's got a lot of qualities in the same, because in that sense, our parents getting older, they're passing you off to your wife, and your wife's going to take you on from there forward and live your life with you, right? And hold you down. So I was very picky when I found my wife. I had a lot of girlfriends before. She knows that. And I just was very, very selective. So I found someone that was a powerhouse, that, had ambition, that had motivation, that was supportive. Even just when we were dating, on the phone, talking, hanging out, whatever, just you got to look at those conversations. And so I knew that she would be, someone that I could hang with. And so when we had Bella, it was like, all right, listen, I'm just getting rolling. Like, my balls were just starting to go at that time here in Vegas, because it was building a ground up business is impossible here. Like, it's hard. It's not impossible. I shouldn't say that. But it's very difficult.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so she stepped back at that point. So, okay, cool. You keep going and I'm going to handle this. And so it was a conversation we had, but it was very brief, and she understood that.
Yeah. That's so funny, because that's like a parallel right now, because we're new to Vegas and we just had a newborn, and we're like, Lexi's a fucking hustler. Like, she's like, we had to have that conversation. I was like, focus on the kids, and then whatever you can do and build, keep building like you want it, but prioritize the kids. Because she doesn't want to stop. She's like, I want to keep doing my business. And I'm like, I get it, but you got to do the mom thing.
Yeah.
So,
we chose that life. You got to do it. And it's only temporary, because, our kids are getting older and faster, right? So they're going to outgrow us, and then we're going to be do what you want.
In pursuing our life partner, we would love an ambitious wife. But if we have to take the role of ambition in the form of making money, that ambition in our wives does not go unused or to the wayside.
Yeah.
If anything, I'll use Crystal as an example. That girl is as ambitious as they get. It's just not in the space of producing income, but she can run these 4 kids and produce the most incredible family life and experience for them and for me. And she still helps contribute to my business. I'm sure you're bouncing ideas off your lady,
Of course,
and
all the time.
marketing ideas, and she's there to help you. But so I don't think it's about trying to find a docile life partner. I think it's about pursuing that ambition and then having a conversation with them and outlining it to where your ambition's not going to the wayside. It's just being redirected.
Mm-hmm.
And then you become a power couple.
Yeah.
Between the two.
I was very lucky. I got one of my biggest clients for my wife, actually.
Really?
Believe it or not, she wrote an article about me. That's how we met. She wrote an article about me. And
without you knowing who she was?
No, she came and talked to me and said, hey, I would like to write an article about you. And I was like, okay, cool. She put me on the cover of a magazine. I was like, super new to it. And I was like, just getting going. Like, I was just really building the business from scratch.
Did you meet her here in Vegas?
Yeah, I met her here in Vegas. I met her at when Lombardo was going for sheriff. We went to a fundraiser for him at the Maloof's condo, and we were both there. And so we met there. And then she's like, I want to write an article about you. Like, hey, like, I love your kind of story kind of thing. So after that, I said, hey, you want to go hang out at a hockey game? You want to go? And she's like, yeah, we could go talk about some advertising, whatever. Like, this is a date. This is a date. Yeah. And that was it. And that was it. So that's how, but from her magazine, one of my customers that lived in the Waldorf picked up her magazine and said, who's that guy? I want to know who that is, because he read my story, and he bought $30 million in cars from me.
Wow.
Jesus.
Literally. over a span of like 3 years.
$30 million worth of cars.
Yeah.
That's a staggering number.
For one individual, yeah. It's crazy.
Wonder if that's another aspect to your business that's niche, is that, you know, I can't find a client. I mean, I want to say I can't. It'd be very difficult to find a client in real estate that'll say, I'm going to go and buy $30 million worth of real estate from you.
Mm.
You know, a lot of it is you sell one house, they sit in it for, you know, 7 to 10 years or more. 7 to 10 is short. But in your space, people that love cars, they can buy 10 cars. You know, I'm on my second car with you. I've known you for a year and a half, maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
Over 10 years, I would argue I will have bought 10 cars through you.
For sure.
Yeah.
And see, in your space, Josh, the way I look at it is like people, you're nurturing those clients and you're building your Rolodex. You have your book of business, you're just adding to it. So your residual is going to come now, right? It's going to start coming back soon because people are going to be flipping, their kids are getting older, they're buying a house with their kids. So your business is still growing hard, just like mine. And so, yeah, they might not buy 30 million in real estate, but they're going to refer you a ton of people and all their friends, and they're going to buy some more investment properties as the market changes. So see, I agree, but I disagree. I think that, you know, you could easily get that.
So you just have a faster cash cycle.
But yours is going to be longevity, right?
Yeah.
We both play the long game. I don't play the short game.
No,
I could smash customers on pricing, and they'll still buy because you can't sell off empty shelves again, but you have the best spec. So I could smash them, but why not give you a good spec at a good price and you'll come back?
I think that's something that I've communicated to you, and then you've been receptive to, is, Josh, I don't want, rephrase this for yourself. I don't want to put you into a car at maximum sales price, because when you're ready to get out of it, you're going to be so flipped that I lose that sale.
Yeah. Inevitably, customers are going to be upset because no one likes losing money. Okay. Anybody doesn't like to lose money. So when you buy a car, you got to understand you're going to lose money.
Agreed.
Okay. What people understood during COVID, it's not real. Okay. When you're buying a car at a dealership and you're going out and you just put it on for 20 grand over MSRP, which is manufactured, you know, retail suggested price, whatever, you put 20 grand over and you're getting it. And then you can take that and go get another 20 grand from someone else. Those days don't exist. That's not real.
Right.
Okay. It's not going to happen again. I hope not. But what reality is when you buy a car, it depreciates slowly and you always are negative a little bit most times, or your lease factor is to the point where you just get out even. The point of that is, I don't want to put you in a car that you're so deep where you're going to come have that conversation with me and be like, Nick, dude, I'm 50 grand backwards, but I made 20 grand on the front. So that 20 grand of your 50 is profit that I made. I wouldn't feel good. I'd rather make 5 grand, put you in a car where you know you're going to lose a little bit, and I can have that conversation easy with you and say, hey, listen, this is the market. These are the comparables. Look what you paid then. Look what you are going to pay now to get out. It's an easier conversation. But Nick, I paid $250 back then. Now it's only worth $200. How hard would that conversation be for me to have with you?
I'm actually sitting here processing how you have to have that conversation so often.
Dude, I have that conversation so often. It's like, I'm numb to it. Right?
Yeah, I bet
but
at this
other people just, and it takes them a minute to swallow that pill. There was an adjustment period. Every time the market adjusts, I'm having that conversation with people saying, what you were getting 3 months ago is not what you were getting today. Like there was a guy that came in, I'll give you just an example from 2 days ago. He came in 3 months ago. He wanted to trade in a Rolls Royce Wraith. Okay. 17 Rolls Royce Wraith. I was like, this car wholesale with the mileage you have is worth about 190. All right. Yeah, that sounds fair. I see them online for like 200, 210. Sure. The dealer has to put it through the shop, recon it, and make money. We had this conversation now. It's been 3 months past. Your car's worth 160, bro. Well, you told me 190, bro. Like, I did tell you 190. And this is why I told you 190. But now you can see what they're going for today. When I told you cut bait at 190 and you're doing good, you should have cut bait.
Yeah.
You thought you were going to get more money. The market was going to turn. It didn't. Well, this is a conversation we have to have. Showed them the facts. He's like, I guess you're right. Now I learned next time. I'm just going to listen to you.
I think that's something that should be taken away from this conversation is listen to you.
Yeah. Well,
And because nobody wants to trust the car salesman, and I hate to say
stigma
salesman,
is
but even
so-
car owner, car whatever, car shop owner.
Yeah.
Nobody trusts that. They think it's always got an edge.
Yeah.
But your advice is genuine. Now's the time to sell it, or hold this thing for another 6 months. I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, and some cars I'll tell you don't sell. It's just not worth taking that loss. It'll swing back around. Some cars didn't do that. But just like you're a professional in your business and you say, hey, I know we can take this property. We can make money on this property. This is our outcome. This is how it's going to look. I'm not in that game, but I trust you.
Yeah.
Then don't come to me if you don't trust me. I'm going to give you the best advice that I know how, from my knowledge, from my years of experience. You can go get Auto Trader. You can go get all these people to give you advice, but you can't buy the time that I put in and the lessons I learned over that time to be able to give you that advice and show you how to enter and exit a car at the right number.
Beautiful statement. And it's true. It's so true. Same thing with me. The difference is that people expect real estate to go up.
Yeah.
Always.
Not the
And
case.
sometimes it doesn't always work like that. I had to have a realization with myself and understanding, what did I get in exchange for that depreciation? And unfortunately, they define it as depreciation. But the reality is if you just define it as a cost of owning that vehicle, and then you exchange all of what that vehicle has done for you, it's so easy to forget that that car has gotten you to your job every day.
Yeah.
That car has gotten you to every social event you've been to, every networking event you've been to, every enjoyable experience you've had. Like it's almost comical to be like, oh, I lost 30 grand on this car. Do you know what that car has done for you? Do you know how much money that car has made you? Do you know how much branding that car has created, or, you know, whatever caliber car you buy? But it's very easy to forget how important a vehicle is, and that there's a cost to owning it. There's a cost to the wear and tear you put on it in exchange for that benefit. It's not just losing money.
No.
Like, what do you mean you just lost money? Did you not touch it since you bought it? Okay, you know, that's a different conversation, but how has that car served you? Now, what is that service worth?
That's exactly it. It's to each their own, right? It's what was it worth to you? And so for you, in your case, your branding, your media, your social media, it's sad to say, but in this life that we live now, and in this, in this age group and the way people are on social media, and they look and live through Instagram and Facebook, whatever, not so much Facebook, but Instagram and TikTok, they look at that and we are all somewhat superficial in that sense. Like, oh, look at that Lambo.
Absolutely.
Like, or look at that Ferrari, or look at that Porsche, or whatever, McLaren. It's a sense of a hook, right? So now that person sees, oh, well, hey, that guy drives a Lambo. He must be doing good. Let me just look at one story. Oh, 2 stories. Before you know it, they're going through your whole page. And that's the thing. So these are tools. These are just tools of marketing. So if it got you places and you got a tax write-off and you got marketing play, I don't think you lost anything. I think you made money.
Agreed. My Lambo has paid me back.
100%.
I bet I would guarantee that Lambo has paid for itself.
How many conversations have you had at the gas station you would have never had before?
Well, I'll tell you the funny thing. The G-Wagon and the McLaren get those conversations at gas stations. The Lambos, I think it's just so loud, it might be intimidating. But what is interesting is the G-Wagon, the squared version of that car, the G-Wagon squared, creates so much conversation. But yes, you're right. It has created a ton of conversation, which is branding, which is eyeballs, which is creating awareness around my businesses. And then the McLaren, what's funny about that is I just think that those doors, which is why I was so passionate about buying the McLaren, because that's a standard on those cars. Those doors, I had a total huge. I went to Monday's Dark on a Monday, this Monday, and I, of course, pay the $100 to be right up front. They give me the most premium spot. I buy this piece of art for my neighbor that I know he's going to love and value, and I'm like, the McLaren's got a trunk. That is why I bought this McLaren. I know it'll fit. Long story short, both doors are up. Crystal's in one in the passenger seat. The other door's up still because I haven't got in it yet. The trunk's open, and me and the valet guy are trying to shove this piece of art in the back of the McLaren. The eyeballs and the circle around this car, I'm not kidding. It was multiple people. I bet there was 9 to 10 people standing around me. One guy wanted to know how big the rims were. It was these 2 drunk cowboys having a bet on how big the rims were. This other guy was like debating with his wife if they thought we could get the piece of art in there. This other guy was a total car head and was starting to talk to me about cars and the most recent cars he had bought. 6 people from $100 bill buying the McLaren and having that kind of attention in valet, not to mention the people that didn't walk up that were watching from afar.
Yep.
Talk about branding power and marketing. And
how do you convert those conversations into income?
well, that actually just happened. I already know what happens. I'm at a men's wellness with Rob Webb, and my car's out front. I run into some old neighbors. The guy's a car nut. He sees the McLaren and started a conversation. I knew his wife, but the guy wanted to talk to me about the car. So he starts talking to me about the car. It's actually happening today. And then tells me that they're moving to Colorado. They're selling their house in the Ridges, And I go, well, do you have a realtor? The wife would have never brought that conversation up. Probably wouldn't even have been the decision maker around the realtor component. But I look at the husband, I go, do you have a realtor yet? He's like, no, I don't actually. I'm like, well, give me a shot. Yeah, you do now.
Yeah.
And we're meeting with him at 2:00 today on a $2.5 million house.
There you go.
Because he wanted to talk about the McLaren.
I like that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Go ahead, Louis. What do you got? I have conversation.
I'm more interested in the wife relationship. Like,
let's play that.
Yeah, let's do it.
How that
Go for it.
dynamic works. Because I feel like what you said earlier was, it felt like a parallel because it was just like exactly what I'm going through right now. When we just got to Vegas, kind of like we're starting this business from the ground up. And that was a conversation I had. So like, does it get better? like the time, because right now I feel like we don't have time for our relationship because it's like she's taking care of the kids. And I'm in grind mode. I'm here sometimes first one to get here and then sometimes the last. And I feel like I'm in that season of my life and seeing somebody who has been there and now I see this ultra successful man. It's like, will I get there and how does it get better?
You'll get there.
Yeah.
This is what's going to happen. This is how it goes. At least what I think.
Yeah.
From what I know, I can only give you what I know. Everybody I know, and I've dealt with the elite of the elite. Okay. And so this is coming from, and I ask a lot of questions. Like before I get to that, I'll tell you, like one of my questions I ask anybody that's older than me, that's very, very well to do, that buys cars or don't buy cars, that doesn't buy cars, is I say, hey, what's advice you'd give yourself 20 years ago? What's advice you'd give yourself 30 years ago? And I take that and I listen to it, and it's a common thing, right? And you hear some of the same things over and over and over again. And one of them is, don't waste time. Time is key. The second one is spend time with your family. Okay. Those are the two common ones I've heard over and over and over again. Right. And then the third one is you'll miss every shot you don't take. So those, if I had to summarize that, the reason I tell you that in this wife situation is you're going to get what you put into it.
Yeah.
You want it to be solid. You got to put more into it. Right. On the flip side of that, right now, there's always a building stage.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to sacrifice those little things to get to where you want to go. But you understand that. How old's your child?
I have a 3-year-old and a 5-month-old.
Perfect. So the 5-month-old is not going to feel anything.
Yeah.
Okay. The 3-year-old might feel a little bit, but not much enough to remember. You have 2 years with her or him for the 3-year-old till you get somewhat established because you're going to put more time in at the age of 5. The 5-month-old, you have another window of 3 years, right? 3-4 years to put time in. So right now for the next 2-3 years, I would grind as hard as you could because they're not going to miss you not being there as much. You can put that time into your business, build the foundation. Once the foundation's built, you can rock and roll. But without a strong foundation, if the foundation is not strong, you have nothing.
That's reassuring because that's the conversation I had. I was like, they're not going to remember right now.
They're
Let me
not.
just put my head down and
they're
do
not.
this thing.
No.
So that's good.
A lot of wives will give you the guilt trip, and I know all the girls will be mad at me. For saying, oh, you don't spend time with your kid. Yeah, well, you know what?
Yeah.
Listen, do you like the lifestyle you live?
Yeah. No, that's why I credit Lexi. I think she's always been so understanding of like where we're at and that we are in kind of a building phase. So it's good. It's good to have somebody who can understand that.
She's not worried about her next meal, right?
Yeah. She doesn't bug me if I'm fucking not home by a certain time. And fucking, if even up in like Brian had, like we were out waiting, by the fire, and I see all these wives come out telling them they got to go. And I'm like, Lex ain't gonna fucking come out doing that.
And my girl didn't either.
Speaking of Brian, why have I not been invited up there?
Dude, are you kidding me?
I do. Like, what the hell, man?
Bro, we got the sickest.
Don't forget, I'm from Canada. I like when it snows, right? So,
you should go grab an Airbnb. We're going up there New Year's.
I'm down.
Here's the thing with New Year's up there is what do guys like us do on New Year's? I mean, you're a different cat, but
no, dude, I'm not different. Trust me. I'll sit at home.
I mean,
relax,
fucking apartment parties and shit for Lombardo. But all joking aside, what for sure me, because I got 4 little ones. Who am I going to find that is going to watch all 4 of my kids? I could do grandma, but long story short, I enjoy being with my kids on New Year's. And Brian Head, what they do is they have this fireworks show where they take all the people that work on the lift that are willing to volunteer that night. And they ship them all up to the top. All the lights are off, and they hit these flares, like the road flares, and they come down the mountain, and you just see this incredible red stream coming down the mountain. And then when they all hit the bottom, there's this insane fireworks show. Wow. And it's so beautiful, and it's 3 degrees, and you're bone chilling cold, and everybody's sipping a little bit of whatever could keep them warm. You're around the fire pit, and it's a great experience. It's Sounds one of my
perfect New Year's to me.
It is, exactly. And then you play some games with your friends, and the kids hang out with other kids, and then you go to bed. Versus Vegas, like how do you get to fight the door? It's $100 to stand in a room. It's $3,000 to get a drink, and to me that game is long gone.
We're locals, right? People come to Vegas to spend money. And so when they're going out and partying, all that stuff, it's nice to go for a dinner here and there, whatever. You go out once in a while. I got to do a lot of entertaining, but you won't see me on the strip. I'll just do local things. Yeah. It's just, you get numb to that.
Yeah.
You really do.
You do. I've been experiencing it recently, and it almost, I whispered over to somebody I went to dinner with, and I'm like, who I know does that networking thing all the time, of which I've been doing, trying to build Galindo Group Real Estate to a different level. And I'm like, dude, you've got to be sick of this, right? Like you get over this. Like I'm over it, and I haven't even been doing it. He's like, bro, this is just part of the game. It's work at this point.
It's work.
Even though I'm sitting in front of a dinner that's $1,000 at minimum, I'm not paying. Everything's on the house. I'm being treated. I'm like, I'd rather be home watching a Knights game with my kids drinking a Pellegrino water.
True.
No,
even our new location's not on the strip. The one location we have right now is really close to the strip. The new one's not. It's a destination.
I love the family thing. So I'm going to tap in on that. I think I was lucky because I started this game young and early, and I started grinding before I had kids. Like Crystal would, when I did have Beckham, to your point, which I think you articulated a really good point about when they're young. If you have young kids, you have until they're probably 4 before you've really got to engage as a dad without having, a detrimental impact. You got to engage so that they remember these things. But Crystal would watch the kid all day. I would work all day. I'd come home, hang out with the kid until he went to bed, and then I would grind looking for deals until 1 a.m, and then rinse and repeat. And I was able to build a solid foundation while my kids were super young. And I've been running around now that I'm in the thick of it, because I got a 10, 8, 6, and a 4-year-old. All play soccer, all practice. It is brave, bro.
Yeah, 2 and done, dude. I'm like,
yeah. And the older they're getting, the more things that they have to go do. Yeah. And I want to be there for all that stuff, which is a blessing for all 3 of us to have the opportunity to participate in those things and not be bound. We can work often where we want, not necessarily when we want.
Correct.
I'll be working at a soccer game, but physically I'm present for my son or my daughters. Yeah. The more that I'm in this, the harder it's getting. And I'm looking at these young guys that don't have kids. I'm like, bro, go build now.
Yeah.
Go start grinding now, because the second you have kids, man, it's very, 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 very hard to do when you have kids, even old and older kids.
Well, I was just telling you, like, Lexi started adding hockey to my schedule. And I was like, well, what is this? And now I have to go to watch him. I don't have to. I want to. But now it's like, oh, it's starting. Like, and I could feel it. Oh, now I have these things. So it's funny.
Where it gets even crazier is you're going to get into hockey even more.
Oh, yeah.
If your boy enjoys it.
Yeah.
Whatever the sport is that he enjoys. But assuming it's hockey, you're going to want to be at those games. Right? Right now you're being a dad and you're watching your boy figure it all out. But when he's smashing kids up against the glass and
been there, done that,
doing all that, bro, you're going to be that crazy dad. It's like, I want to be at this. And now it's your focus transitions from I want to be at work producing because it creates fulfillment. It's fun. It's what I want to do to I really want to go watch my boy play soccer, or I really want to go watch my daughter play soccer. And then now it's these things are level. Yeah. And that's like this weird space I'm in right now that I'm struggling with, because gosh, I just want to be with my family so much, you know, and, but business was so fun and I've enjoyed that for so long. Wait, I don't like this.
There'll always be more business.
Yeah.
There'll always be more business.
Yeah.
Is that because I always feel like if I'm gonna miss an opportunity, and somebody's told me, it's like, dude, there will always be the next opportunity.
Yeah.
Like fucking
There's always someone bigger. There's always someone
yeah.
richer. There's always someone trying to start new every day. And there's always new opportunities, new business. Dude, you're gonna get what's meant for you.
Yeah.
Nobody can take that away.
Because I mean, which I think is just me being young, but I always sometimes feel like, oh, if I go give them the family time now, I'm gonna miss this opportunity, and then I'm actually gonna hurt us, and then I overthink shit sometimes.
That's a really sweet statement you just said there, because the fear is rooted in I might hurt my family by going and playing ball with Junior. You know, if I just wanted to capitalize on that, but keep going.
No, that was it. Yeah.
I think I struggle with that too. Is to your point, is the wife and the kids worrying about their next meal?
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is what dad's got to do to make sure they don't have to start worrying about that next
exactly
meal.
It.
Yeah,
it's the truth.
It's a tough life being a man.
It really is. They think it's easy.
It's not. No,
not
this is
easy,
a grind.
It's a grind.
This is a painful grind.
How many employees do you have?
I run a lean shop, but we'll call it six or seven. But you know,
When you get to like 40 something like me, dude, you're babysitting all day.
Yeah. That's why I say becoming a business owner is coaching and babysitting.
Yeah, literally.
You're trying to encourage, and then you're babysitting. And babysitting is really just correcting bad behavior.
Because
and then
like
you're back to coaching.
Like he's worried if he came to work, he'd have that on his mind, and then he's not focused, and you got to set him straight and get him back to reality. I got 44 of you.
Yeah.
Everybody has issues. Everybody's got problems, right?
Yeah.
You got to just reset. Like, I swear, you just get really good at just got to keep them in line. Just keep going.
What are some of the, if we were to ask you that question on your journey, what are some of the biggest lessons you've learned?
Biggest.
And are you still learning them?
I learn new stuff every day.
Mm.
But some of the biggest lessons I've learned, honest business. Just do honest business.
That's right.
There's no shortcut, and there's no quick get rich quick. That does not exist.
Doesn't exist.
The people that really think that is honestly, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
And
the
it's
ones that
actually
sell
sad.
is bullshit.
Yeah, it's sad because that's not factual. It's not true. And let's be honest, we're all human beings. You're not gonna go and give someone your recipe to do exactly what you do. Nobody would do that.
Oh, no.
You're not gonna do that. So
Right.
when you're teaching these classes and stuff, I'll teach you how to do this. I'll teach you how to do that. No, it doesn't exist, man. Like, yeah, you can advise, but then you're not gonna give them your blueprint.
Even if I did, they wouldn't use it.
They wouldn't use it.
Yeah.
You can
That's
take
one of the
them so
things I
far.
always say at my speaking events is I can sit up here till I'm blue in the face and tell you everything that I do. And then you guys can get addicted to these dopamine hits because that's what happens. They come sit down, they feel motivated, they're so excited, they're ready to go conquer the world, and they walk out the door and they take no action.
Yeah. That's
But
exactly
all of this is useless if you don't go take action.
I've tried it. I've helped people learn how to start businesses, dealerships, whatever. And I don't even want anything for it. But do this, do this, do this, do this. Just follow that. You're going to be okay. What do I do again?
All right.
It's like,
Yeah.
It's just
like,
entertainment.
right? It's just like it's the
It's
excitement of
entertainment.
the thrill of the kill, right? You want to at least get it going, but you got to stick with it. Yep. So that's one thing I've learned. It's just there's no get rich quick and honest business. Take your time, do deals the right way, build a relationship, and hold that relationship, value it. It takes a lot of money to get leads in the door. Once you have them in the door, you got to maintain them. You let them walk out the door, that's money walking out the door.
Yeah. Okay. What about family?
One of the biggest
What have you learned on
lessons
that
I've learned.
journey? Through all of it. Your mom, your dad,
My
your
mom,
brother.
My mom,
your wife,
my
your
mom
daughter.
taught me the most. Just be true to your family and value it. Spend time with that. And it's not necessarily you have to be there physically, but you gotta have the time. When your mom calls, pick up that call. You don't know when that's the last call. Your brother calls, pick up that call. You don't know if that's urgent. You don't know. And that's where people are like, oh, I'll get back to him. I'll get back. No, pick up that call. I'll pick up every call. My mom calls me. I pick up every call. You saw right before I started the podcast, what did I do? I called my mom and said, hey, I'm going to be busy for 45 minutes. If you call me, that's why. I don't know if you saw me do that. I think Brian saw me do that.
So we had a guy on that,
Just in
you
case.
seem like a family guy. Have you cut off any immediate family that just the relationship doesn't serve you? Because it's like, I hear you talk about, I don't think I've never told you this, but like you talk about not having your dad. My dad was there, but like I never like had a relationship with him, like type of thing. And it was like he was just there, and now it's like we talk once a month type thing. But like,
Have you ever cut people off? I haven't cut people off.
Yeah,
but I also keep them at a distance.
Yeah, so exactly, yeah.
So I'll engage, but I'm not gonna come hang out with you.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna come talk to you every day. I'm not gonna pick up the phone and call you. Just if you need me, I'm here, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of users, unfortunately. In family members as well too. If they see one person doing good, they're going to try and use you for it. Some of the people like that. I've had my uncles take my mom to the cleaners for certain situations after my dad passed. It was sad. It was actually just watching that growing up and being helpless at that age to be able to help.
Sure.
But it's like, man, it's unbelievable what they do.
Yeah, it's wild. Human nature, huh?
Human nature, greed.
Take.
And guess what? They don't get anything at the end.
No.
They lost it all. Everything they took, they lost.
Yeah, because they didn't earn it. They didn't build it from the beginning.
It.
It was a get rich quick mindset. That's what greed's rooted in.
Yeah.
And if you just earn it, it'll last.
That's exactly it.
I try to tell that to everybody around me. It's been a comical journey over the last 3 to 5 years. And I just said this recently. Josh, man, you've really made it, and I haven't, because there's always someone wealthier, there's always someone bigger, there's always someone smarter, and I believe that at my core. But the perception to the ones around me is, man, you've made it. And you did it so fast. Someone said, how did you get wealthy so fast?
Yeah.
I was like offended.
Dude,
I'm like, fast, bro? I've been licensed since 2005. Like, I've been grinding this freaking painful real estate game for 18 and a half years. Yeah. So fast. There's no such thing as fast.
No such thing.
Yeah. That's why I didn't believe in any of this other shit that popped up during COVID. It was like, just stay focused on what I made.
Pivot.
Most of my money, if not all of my money, one house flip, 20 grand at a time.
Remember, I took you to that one flip and you're like,
do not buy this, dog.
You're like, don't buy it. You're like, don't buy this. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
But I called you because I knew you were the expert. And what did you say? Don't do it. I said, done. I'm not doing it.
Yeah. And what's that probably doing now? Is it still sitting there?
I think someone bought it and I think they're tearing it down and building on it. So
there you go.
That's what we knew that we had to do.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no bringing that one back to life. No.
We could have tried, but whatever.
Yeah. Wasted money.
Yeah.
So you guys started out at, you have 2 locations right now.
Yeah.
You have the one near the Strip.
Correct.
And then that was the OG one, right?
Yeah.
That was the original one.
Yeah.
I love that showroom. It's really beautiful. And then you guys bought the building over on Sahara.
I bought the building on Sahara and then opened that location. My competitor let me walk right in next door.
Yes, they did.
So I just, hey, it's all good. Let's go.
And then that is exactly how I understand it. That's
exactly how
it was crazy to me. But yes,
you can shine some light on that.
Yeah, no, I will, just out of respect to everybody. I had some insight from some intimate information, and it was my understanding that you were there was 2 of you trying to buy that building.
Yeah.
And somebody was saying, we have to buy this building.
Yeah.
And they didn't, and you did. That's where I'll leave it at.
Yeah. Surprise.
Yeah. No, and what a good play for you,
yeah,
I would assume.
It was all God, dude. It was honestly, it wasn't me.
Is that your mindset? Is it rooted in God and religion?
My faith is strong.
Really?
And I'm a firm believer in what's meant for you will be for you. You got to just work hard to be a good person and get it. But I'm also a really, really, really big believer in manifestation.
Yeah.
I believe everything I've done, I already built this before.
Yep.
So I knew that when I was building it, I'd already drawn it all out.
That was another great statement. Someone, you're going to love this. When I opened this space, which was just the front in the beginning and before I owned the building. So like way before what you're seeing now. And they said, can you believe that you did all this? Can you believe this? And I look back, I was like, abso-fucking-lutely. I saw every bit of this.
Yeah.
That's why it's here.
Yeah.
And so it's same with you.
Yeah.
Nick, did you ever think you'd be doing so well? You'd be a family man and a business owner and be successful in Las Vegas? You're like, yeah, motherfucker, I saw it.
There's times I was nervous. I won't lie to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw it. I knew what I wanted. Just got to chase that goal.
Yeah. So rooted in faith and then the power of manifestation.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it takes mindset to get here.
100%. And it takes mindset to maintain being here.
Yeah.
That's the real fact.
because I believe that a portion of the energy you invest in your business goes to playing defense.
Mm.
A portion goes to maintaining your position, and a portion goes to growth. What do you think about that when I say that? Defense meaning someone's trying to take your spot. You got to keep them at bay. Then I got to focus on, at the very least, staying even. A percentage goes to that. And then obviously a percentage goes towards, how do I keep growing? So defense, keeping someone from rolling in and trying to take my spot, trying to maintain so that I can just keep the operation afloat, and then having a vision to know where I'm going.
Yeah, that's a pretty fair statement. I do a lot of that.
Really?
In the day.
I was curious if
it does happen. It's a little different for us. For me, it's inventory management, right? That's my staying at pace.
Okay.
The growth is always growing more. How am I going to get better and bigger, and not necessarily bigger, but better at what I do, and more dialed in, and deeper contacts, and more penetration to the market. There's always going to be competition. There's always going to be competition. I'd be a fool to say that I don't have competition. I have a lot of competition. I have a lot of X's on my back from people. I raffled the business in Vegas single-handedly. What we did here, I know for a fact that by creating that little niche, it grew into something. You've been here a lot longer than me. You can go back and say other dealers did not carry cars like we carry, but now they do. We showed the market space that was here. People are not happy about it because they could have done it. Why didn't we do that?
Mm-hmm.
So is there a competition? Yes. And so I got to always have that. I got to keep moving to stay ahead of it.
You're right.
So yeah, that part of my days goes to that for sure.
Cool.
My day starts early, dude. I'm up at 5:30.
Oh yeah.
5:30, 6 o'clock I'm in the gym. 7 o'clock I'm back in the house, pumping out emails, shower, get ready, days on.
So then that takes you to your growth phase. So you guys are building, I kind of want you to describe it, a new location. So tell me all about the new location. Give me all the specs, how big's the dirt, how big's the building. If you want to tell me what it costs, I'll take you up on that. How many cars is it going to hold? What's the play with the location? Give me lots of detail.
It's off the 215. It's going to be the biggest indoor warehouse car showroom space in Nevada.
Wow.
It'll carry over 240 cars indoors.
Holy cow.
It'll have over 25 service bays.
Is that impressive?
That's impressive.
Okay.
For
Neither one of us reacted. We're
for
like,
a location like that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna have an indoor gym.
oh yeah.
It's gonna be the mecca of where to go for cars. There's other guys coming into town. I know that. So we're gonna be in the dirt first and building. If you build it, they will come. I'm a firm believer in that too. So the space is gonna be state of the art, all glass. It's gonna be. I don't know how to explain it to you without just showing you. But it's sick. It's gonna be. It's gonna be.
You know, it'll be
for
fun.
sure sick.
Will you leak a picture for us? Just us. We won't show anybody.
Yeah.
Just us. Let's take a look at this thing, Louis.
Oh my God. That's sick.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you're gonna want to see that. Well, congratulations on that. That's a big move, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be a footprint.
Yeah. And so we'll still have our location on Sahara, and that one's going to get built right after. So this one's going first, and that one's getting built next. So
What do you mean getting built?
I'm building this one from scratch.
Yep.
On the new dirt. And as soon as this one's done, I'm going to build Sahara as well. I'm going to do the same thing on Sahara.
You're gonna demo that building?
I'm going to demo that building and go huge.
Oh, dude.
So that's the plan. It's going to happen. So
wow.
yeah, so
that's going to be
it'll
huge
big.
on Sahara.
And that's it. And then that's all you need, I think, for Vegas.
That's your empire.
That's where we start, and then we expand from there. We got more franchises coming too, but I cannot tell you about that yet.
It's not about how the engine works, what kind of gas you put in these things, the kind of tires, the thickness of the tires for you. Is this about you enjoy the business, and do you enjoy the beauty of these types of cars? Because the reason you're in this type of car, you could be selling Hyundais, you could be selling Fords. what parts of your business do you love? Is it the mechanics of the car? Is it the beauty of the car? Is it the business of the type of car you sell?
I love making dreams come true. They're not needs, they're wants. And so when people come in, I get to be a part of that milestone in their life when they're able to make that plunge and do that. And so I get off on that rush of watching that person's excitement of, oh my God, this is my first big toy, or this is my first luxury car. I sell regular stuff too, but that along that process of, wow, this is my first real big purchase, you know, buying a house and buying a car are your two biggest purchases.
Sure.
Believe, right?
Yeah.
So I get off on that, and I love being a part of that journey. I've grown with my clients. I like to watch them grow. So I get to see that process of how they go bigger and bigger and trade up, and, you know, and so that's what I love about it. The cars, they're just metal.
Yeah.
They're just moving metal. Just moving metal, dude.
What a great statement.
You know?
No, it's true.
money
Because
in,
the type
money
of cars you're selling, that's a bigger life milestone, I think, for people than just buying their
100%.
car at a utility. Like when they go and buy your product, your type of vehicle, I could totally see that. This is a monumental moment for me. This is my first big car.
Instagram, they get a lot of that. Like, it's a big deal. Like, they go all out. Photos, family, champagne.
Yeah.
Bring the aunts and uncles in. Like, it's yeah, dude. It's a real thing.
That's got to feel incredible.
It feels incredible.
Of course.
You go buy something at a store, you don't get that. You buy a house, you get a nice gift from the realtor, and they make you feel it's a big deal. And that celebration is internal, but we get to be there because they're there picking up their car. I get to see that celebration with those people and stuff like that. So it's very, very rewarding. Wow. Like, it feels great, actually. That's what I do it for.
Did you get that feeling when I was telling you how much I love that McLaren?
Yeah.
You get that?
Yeah. And I knew that you loved it, and I just, we're going to find the right one. But yeah, I had that feeling, of course. I'm like excited to get you that next step.
Yeah, it was cool because I described exactly what I wanted, and you're like, get in that car and drive it. And I never took it back. Yep. I drove it out of the dealership and never took it back.
That one. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I knew you would.
Yeah.
I knew you would.
Yeah. That's fun.
You were skeptical.
It was only the color, but honestly, I think that car looks best in black. Yeah. I don't think that car looks. Have you seen it in white?
I've
GT?
seen it in white. Yeah, I've sold them in white.
What do you think color does it? Because I can wrap it. I
wouldn't wrap it.
Because you don't think it looks good in white as good as it does in white as it does black, or because you don't like wraps.
The black looks stealthy.
Yeah,
you know, it's just a little bit more modest.
I took it into my buddy at Glassy Business. Have you heard of them yet?
Yep.
Yeah, Jimmy. And he's like, dude, let me just touch this thing up a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, just wait. And it was little touch ups, but it went a long way. He covered the orange in the front and the red in the back.
Sure.
Tinted the windshield and then put my logos on it, and it was sick. Oh yeah, I tagged you in it. Yeah, but those little things made it a little beefier, a little bit more stealthy, a little bit more Batman.
Yeah, we do a lot of customizations too, and that's one of the new things I'll have in the new building is that we do little customizations more and more. Like, so I'm starting to do that. You got to make it your own, right?
Right.
So yeah. Do more of that stuff.
Yeah, it's cool.
So that's what you did. It looks awesome.
So $40 million in inventory, a beautiful wife, beautiful daughter. An awesome family dynamic. I love watching you with your mom. It's like the sweetest visual. And I don't even know if you've seen it, but I watched it from a distance, and it's really sweet and cool to watch. 40 employees, some big announcements coming with in reference to growing your company. How do you keep it all from you feeling like you are the biggest, wealthiest, smartest guy in the room, aka how do you stay humble? What keeps you humble and maintaining humility?
I live within a very short window of my means. I don't take more than I need. I put everything back into my business. I stay humble. I just stay grounded. I keep that levelness. I'm not better than anybody. We all eat the same. We sleep the same. We go to the bathroom the same. I'm no better than you. If whatever I can do, you can do. Whatever you can do, I can do. And as long as you stay aligned with that, I don't look at people down. I look at them eye to eye and respect that. So I'll never, I don't want to get too big for my britches. I'll never let that happen. I've seen that happen with people I've had in my business where they start making money and they get too big for their britches. Oh, I can do this. Oh, I got this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for it. And I've seen it around people around me, but those people that get big like that, they fall hard because never, ever treat anybody less than you. That is, I really like, I get mad when people do that. Like I've seen guys that have money in the way they belittle their wife or belittle their kids or people around them, employees, whatever. You can't do that kind of stuff. You have to just stay humble and equal with them because we all are working towards the same thing, but we all carry issues that we don't talk about and we worry about. Everybody's got a problem. It doesn't kill you to just say, hey, how are you doing? How's your day? You know, so that keeps me humble. I'll do that to everybody and my staff. Everything good? Yeah, good. Is there anything I can do for you? No, we're good. Perfect. It just, you have to stay like equal. They're not my staff. That's my team.
Yeah.
We're one unit.
Sure.
You're hurting, I'm hurting. That's it. That's how I keep it level.
I love that. It's so crucial. I've never seen anybody walking around with arrogance have that serve them well long term, ever.
No.
Ever.
I dress below my staff. Can you believe that? Truly. Like my staff are all
I wouldn't
dressed up at
believe
work.
that.
Yeah.
Just
I
looking at you.
I come see you today, but truly, like how you black t-shirt, black jeans, and a pair of kicks.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you can ask my wife. I have 50 black t-shirts.
Yeah, that's my closet.
Because
literally
for me,
50
I don't
black
want to
t-shirts.
think about that in the morning, right?
Yeah.
1 and 2, my guys all dressed in suits and they're decked up for work, and they have to because when you're spending money, you want to feel that it's not that you're gonna do better with a suit on, but you want to feel like you're getting your money's worth. And so when you know that that person took time to get ready in the morning to put that effort in, you know they're going to put time and effort into you and your happiness on your transaction. I know it sounds stupid, but it's really a fact.
Oh, I believe
And
that.
so I'll just wear a t-shirt and jeans and kicks, and I stay in my office and I just stay behind the scenes because I don't want to outshine them. They're the ones who shine. I'm just there to help.
Man, I love it.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, fire away.
How did the Golden Knights thing go for you?
A quick answer is I don't know.
Okay.
But I believe that the branding play has ignited an energy in my office that I think wouldn't be here without it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's created momentum for agents in my office that wouldn't be there without it. There are a ton of eyeballs on the business, so it's reconfirmed relationships that I have had. For example, that Ridge's listing coming up, that was a part of that conversation. I see everything you're doing. I'm so proud of you. It's so cool to watch. So it's a branding play. And unfortunately, I think, and maybe you can educate me or confirm my belief, this game that we're playing of business is all marketing and branding. You know, we're not in the call to action business. You know, if I could pay $5,000 per click to get someone to click on my website, call me and go, I want to buy this house, I would go into that game because I would just do the math. Even if I was making $1,000 net profit off of each click, I would just go, I just got to do 1 million clicks to make 10 million bucks. I think it's a branding play, and the branding play is almost like that a rising tide lifts all boats. It's just energy on the company, and I don't know where it's coming from, but everything is moving up.
Let me give you my 2 cents on that. Truly, 1, you're the only real estate company that's aligned with the Knights. Okay, so that you got to understand that the value in that right there is, you know, pinnacle, because for them to accept you,
and they reached out to me.
Exactly. So for them to accept you and say, hey, listen, they already noticed your brand, but what did that do for you? It was instant credibility, because when you align yourself with a pro sports team, not just the Knights, but you could have done it at a better time, you know, right
Agreed.
after coming off the Stanley Cup. It's instant credibility. It's a household name. It goes back to that schema, right?
Yeah.
So it's you being there and doing that is like, it's crucial. And now it's a part of you. And that expense, it's expensive.
Yep.
We both know that.
Oh yeah.
But let me tell you, it's just an expense at this point, because what's going to come from it is way more. And that takes time. It's building in people's schema. And that the more they see that, it's just going to be, oh, that is the guy.
Yeah.
To go to.
You know, and thank you for sharing that. And that reconfirms,
100%.
you know, that thought of, am I making the right call? Is this the right expense? Is this the right way to spend this money? And hearing that from you, that's comforting. When you look at what's actually played out, I've only done 3 key releases.
Mhm.
You know, and that key release, like I watched last night, normally when I'm at the game watching the key release, I'm watching the Jumbotron to make sure that they're pronouncing my name correctly.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the ribbon around to make sure that that's relevant. I don't have to adjust any of that, but I'm really in making sure it's being presented properly mode. I wasn't at the game last night. We got like 4 messages from different friends and people we know saying, oh my gosh, you know, you're here. But I got to watch from different angles of the arena last night. I really analyzed it from this view. I watched the people in the crowd this time. So instead of me having my eyes on the Jumbotron with a video, I actually started watching, and you could see every one of their heads were looking up at the Jumbotron.
Oh, I know that guy. I know that guy.
Even if they didn't,
I heard of that.
They've heard of him, and their head was up. And that to me was actually really powerful to visually recognize, is all of the fans are watching the Jumbotron, and Galindo Group Real Estate is right there.
That's the same thing we go through, right? So we got a little lucky on the timing with that Golden Knights sponsorship. I did it right while they were building up, and I'm on the boards for all the Stanley Cup games and all that stuff. So it was sick. A lot of the Knights are my clients, including the owner of the team. That's how that fell into play, right, for me. And so I was like, this is the best thing that could ever happen. And the fact that I was accepted to be we're the official luxury car partner. They don't have one. That's it. I own that. I'm not letting it go.
Yeah.
And so we're, you know, and they want to do more with us. Like, we're just keep branding with them. It's getting out there. It's instant credibility because we're an independent dealer. Before I got the franchise, we're an independent dealer. Now we have franchises, which gives us more credibility. But now I align myself with that. It's like, okay, this is the play. Because now it's simply, if they trust them, we can trust them.
That's right. As a consumer, I think one of the biggest wins for you, it's one thing to be Vegas Auto Gallery on the board, Vegas Auto Gallery on the Jumbotron, all those things. It was watching that Rolls Royce roll down that parade, bro, with your logo tatted all over the side of it. I was like, damn, that's honest.
Thanks.
I was so
Thank you, bro.
impressed with that. So yeah, that and that's the thing. They're byproducts of these partnerships. And I think, you know, if we're trying to create a lesson out of this conversation for the listeners, I think the lesson is that it's what I've taken away from this is it is opportunity capitalized on creates more opportunity to capitalize on. True. Of which when you capitalize on it, it creates more opportunity. It really does. Yeah. And when the Knights came to me and said, hey, are you interested? And honestly, it was such a comfort zone expansion for me, because it was like, this was before we even talked numbers. I was like, we can't afford the Knights.
Yeah, that's what you think, right?
Yeah.
Even me, I was like, oh man, that would be like a dream for me to be on the boards.
Yep. Right.
I said it. I was like, that's my dream one day.
Yeah. And then when you sit down and have the conversation and then you get the bill, now you're like, I really can't afford the Knights. And then when you realize all of the value, which is my point about opportunity being capitalized on, it was quite interesting. And I'm going to communicate this slowly. I figured out how to afford it. And that was the expansion that was needed in my business. But my point with that statement is we can afford anything. We can pay for anything. We can make anything make sense if the value's there and you're willing to get a little bit uncomfortable.
You got to work
and
harder.
Now my business absorbs that expense like it's nothing, like it's just another line item in the spreadsheet, as I'm sure yours does too. And I have the benefit of being with the Knights. Yeah. And back to my byproduct conversation, I think it's confirmed our relationship. I hold Vegas Auto Gallery in a higher light. Nick Dossa owns it. I hold Nick in a more respectable space.
Thank you.
I hope that's how it's looked from your view to me.
For sure.
And then going to like that business alliance meeting.
Yeah.
Dude, that room was full of, let's call it probably 180 to 200 people that have that kind of money to contribute to their businesses. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking around going, how did I sneak in here? I'm looking at Crystal going, dude, I'm sitting next to Pizza Hut, who's probably, I have no idea, so don't quote me and don't, this isn't to speak on their behalf. I'm sitting next to the guy with Pizza Hut who's probably spending $1 million a year to be with the Knights and have their shit everywhere. And then I have no idea what the numbers are. This guy and this guy and this guy. And I've got Nakvi over there and Nick Dossa's at that table sitting next to Nakvi. And the other thing that was funny, so Nakvi to me is like the branding god.
Yeah.
And I want to be the Nakvi of real estate. That has been a term I've used often. And I see him talking to you. Thankfully, you were over there because it kind of gave it an easy justification to walk up and say hi.
I've known him for years.
Really?
Yeah, I saw him grow.
And what's so funny about it is I'm sure Nakvi is just a normal me, like he's a normal you. And I think he would appreciate being perceived that way.
100%.
But I still have to put that fangirl away to see him in that light. But I always say to people that I idolize or look up to, let me get this fan feeling out of the way and then we'll talk like humans. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you've put yourself in a position where that's how I perceive you. I have to come from that space. But as I get to know you, you'll be a normal human being. And I say that because we've had a handful of Knights players live in our neighborhood, and they'll walk by our house and walking their dogs are normal Joes. But I'm like, Alex Tuck looking up at him going, you're still Alex Tuck to me, but I know you want me to just treat you like you're the guy walking your dog, and Martinez and other players. But anyway, I said to myself, I go, that's a little bit of an intimidating introduction to go and make. This is what I'm saying in my mind. I'm like, get the fuck up, Josh. Give the advice you would give anybody else. Walk over there, shake his hand, and say hi. And that's what I did. And I walked up when the event was over before anybody else could rush over to him. I ran over there. I go, hey, Nakvi. And the first thing that I think is important for young entrepreneurs or anybody that catches himself in this space is if somebody is doing something special in the world, don't be the guy that walks up with your chest out and go, I am too.
Oh, that's what
no, acknowledge their success. And what's likely going to happen is, one, they're going to be grateful for it because, they've earned it. But they're going to appreciate that you were humble enough to come from that space. And two, if you've created some form of success, they'll probably acknowledge it back.
Yeah.
And so the first thing I did, I walked up to Nakvi. I go, I'm a big fan of everything you've done, man. I look at you like you're the marketing god of the city. So congratulations. I see your stuff everywhere. I just really wanted to meet you. What a humble, kind space to come from. Yeah. I didn't walk up and go, I'm Josh Galindo with, that's a different energy. Anyway, what I found interesting, back to our car conversation and tools and different things, he didn't even say, good to meet you back. The first thing he said was, that is a great watch on my hand. It was the AP that I was wearing that day. But two things took place there. He complimented me back. He didn't come from a space of, thanks, I'm Nakvi. Glad you recognized it. He was like, the proper place to come from at this moment, I don't know if, I'm sure this was intentional because he's a smart guy, was I'm going to share a compliment back to this guy. And he did. He goes, that's a great watch. And I'm like, oh my gosh, thanks. You recognized it. And
He broke the ice.
He broke the ice. And then and I go, I gave him all the compliments and stuff. And he goes, I've heard of you. You're the real estate guy. I've seen your billboards. Yeah. Another thing where I was like, oh my gosh, that was so exciting for me to be recognized by somebody like him. There. Yeah. Well, Nick, congratulations on all the success. You seem like a well-rounded guy. Got the family game right, the business game right. And I don't think I have to say this, but I would assume there's always room for improvement.
There is.
But man, from the outside, it looks like you're firing on all cylinders.
Thank you, brother. I really appreciate that. It's a great compliment coming from you.
Well, I mean it.
I appreciate that, really.
Yeah. Thank you.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
That was cool. I learned a lot. I'm going to have Lexi watch this.
And that's a wrap. So go visit Nick at Vegas Auto Gallery. They have got the baddest cars in the city. Even if you just go down there for an Instagram shoot, it's good for their business. They get some eyeballs on their product. But if you're ready to make that big purchase, those are the guys to go and visit Nick Dossa at Vegas Auto Gallery.